Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Got another deck profile update for you guys. This time it's on Blue Eyes White Dragon. I've made some changes on both the main and on the side deck, mainly because the meta always tends to shift around, and it's already kind of clear like what are the best decks of the format. So as usual, I always try to do my best to change my strategies with Blue Eyes. Try to see like what other good combos there are, what's the best way to counterattack these meta decks. And Blue Eyes is still a good rogue strategy. It's just like as long as you build the correct variation, put in the correct ratios, you should be just fine. It's a good deck that can just OTK. Blue Eyes White Dragon by itself is already immune to cards like Widow Anchor because it's a normal monster. It's unaffected by the effects of Widow Anchor. Well, anyway, I figured I should show you what I made around this time, and hopefully you guys enjoy this. Alright, so starting off, I'm of course going to be playing 3 copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon, as well as its counterpart, Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon. This is all pretty standard stuff. Next up, 2 copies of Dragon Spirit of White. Since Altergeist and Sky Striker seem to be like one of the top 5 best decks, I would recommend using any type of form of spot barrier removal, especially Banishment. And Dragon Spirit of White is the card that can really that can pull that off for you. So Solid Dragon's not that good right now, especially now that extra linking is no longer like a viable thing anymore. So that's why I don't focus on him anymore. I'm just bringing back Dragon Spirit of White at its full potential. Next up, 3 copies of Sage with Eyes of Blue. This card's also key essential to your strategy. This searches out all your stones, and you can also search out Effect Veiler since it's a level 1 light attribute tuner. And also you can discard the card from your hand, target 1 effect monster you control, send it to the grave, and special summon a Blue Eyes for free. Moving on, playing 3 copies of the White Stone of Ancients, and 1 White Stone of Legend. Great cards. Honestly, I think Legend's really powerful because it's really good at baiting out cards like Ash Blossom. I always combo it off with Melody of the Awakening Dragon so I can make it a +2. And if my opponent does hit me with Ash, then I still get a Blue Eyes White Dragon regardless. Alright, so moving on. The only side engine card I'm really playing is Globe Bulb. Reason being is because it generally just acts as an additional tuner. It gets into my Crystal Wing synchro play. It's also a target for Linkuriboh, so it just kind of like brings back Linkuriboh pretty consistently. So Globe Bulb is definitely a great option. Alright, so for hand traps, I'm only playing 5 this time instead of 6. 3 Ash, and 2 Effect Veiler. If you don't have Ash, I would recommend playing Ghost Ogres. Ogre is actually really good in this format because it's just good at clearing out boards. Or you can just main deck Drone Lockbird, which I do run on the side, but I just prefer to side it right now. But yeah, because a lot of decks right now are search heavy, and you definitely want to stop them. So, but yeah, if you can't get Ash, go with the cheaper options. Alright, so moving on to the spells already. You're going to be playing 3 Melody of the Awakening Dragon. This searches out your alternative and your Blue Eyes White Dragon. 3 Trade-In. Discard 1 level 8 monster to draw 2. 3 Return of the Dragon Lords. It's the best revival, and it's built-in protection at the same time. So that's why it's really powerful for Blue Eyes, and you definitely want to make good use of it as much as you can. For negation, which I don't have in permanents as everyone already knows, so I decided to just play 2 copies of Forbidden Chalice. This card's also good, and you can also target your own Blue Eyes for this, especially on the normal one since it doesn't even have any effects. Give it a 400 point boost. But I generally like to use it towards like cards like Thunder Dragon Colossus, just because I don't want him to stop me from searching. Or if I'm up against like a Gumbler player, I don't want him to rip 6 out of my hand or whatever hand loop they could come up with. So Forbidden Chalice, definitely a powerful option. I'm only playing 2 copies of Called by the Grave. I know it's at 3, but in this deck I decided to bump it down to 2 because 3 got a little bricky for some reason, and I don't know, it just kept opening up 2, so I'm like, yeah, this is a total brick, so I'm just going to play it at 2 and keep it at 2, and just make room for the Forbidden Chalices. And honestly, it's made better results, so I feel like this ratio is a lot better. For the one-ofs, got 1 for 1, 1 Dragon Shrine, and 1 Foolish Burial. All awesome cards. And for additional revival, I got Silver's Cry, Monster Reborn, and of course, one of my favorite spells, Soul Charge. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on to the extra deck. For the extra deck, of course, I'm going to be playing 2 copies of Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. This is standard. 1 Azure Silver Dragon for protection. Black Rose Moonlight Dragon, which bounces back, which is actually one of the best ways to like remove spots now, because like you definitely want to get rid of like Thunder Dragon Titan or whatever. So yeah, like out of just, out of precautions, really. But Moonlight Dragon's also there just so I can get into Crystal Wing faster, so that's one of the reasons why I still play it. Got one Twin Burst Dragon, which is really powerful of getting rid of, like, cards permanently. If it fails to destroy a monster in battle, it gets to banish it, and it can attack twice. For the Xyz, of course, I got number 38, which I like to use against Sky Striker matchups. Cypher Dragon, Cypher Blade Dragon, Full Armor Photon. These are just, more spot removal, because that's basically all this deck does, is a spot removal and just beat over your opponent with really high attack. One Tachyon Dragon to negate all card effects on the currently face up on the field during battle phase and can attack twice. Number 95, just to pitch 3 dragons of different names to the grave and can also attack twice. So that's one of the best things about Blue Eyes, is like it has so many options on the extra deck that you can fit in, and the deck itself doesn't necessarily need the extra deck to win. For the only links I'm playing, of course, is Linkuriboh, Hippo Shinigami, and I took out Summon Sorceress and brought back Decode Tugger just because I didn't really use Summon Sorceress as much as I thought I was going to, so I think Decode is just fine. And if you don't like Decode, maybe Land Fornicus would be another option to play. But that's really the only reason why I'm running him in the first place, is just like, 3 effect monsters. We got plenty of those, so we should be fine. Alright, so for the side deck, and I think you guys are going to enjoy what I got this time. So for the side, I decided to go with 3 Drone Lockbird, In case Ash doesn't do anything to whatever matchup I'm up against, Drone Lockbird will definitely be the better option. 3 Mind Controls, of course, for Thunder Dragon matchups. For any back row heavy strategy, Twin Twisters for sure. Now, another good card that I like to use when going second, and only when I go second, because my deck is built to go first, but if I'm forced to go second, I can easily side out whatever cards I need to go second. I actually like to use Slash Draw. This card is actually broken in this deck too, much like in Shaddoll Dinosaurs. Only in this case, the discard doesn't affect, the cost for discarding does not hurt you whatsoever. You want to discard, your Whitestone of Ancients or your Legend, just so you can, definitely, not only do you get a search off or, an end-phase summon, but if you can pull off Slash Draw and inflict some damage to your opponent, that's just one of the best ways to do that. And plus, I felt like it was a better option than Spell Shattering Arrow right now, because it inflicts more damage, and plus, it's just really good for Tyro. So that's the only reason why I'm citing out Slash Draw. But definitely a great card to consider. I would definitely recommend it. And for the last of our side cards, it's Champion's Vigilance. I only use this when I have to use it. It's a counter trap. So here's how. It's basically Sullen Judgment. You can negate any summon as long as you control a level 7 or 8, or a level 7 or higher normal monster. Or you can also negate the effects of any spell or trap card your opponent activates. Like, as soon as he activates a spell or trap, you can negate its activation and destroy it. So, Champion's Vigilance is definitely a great card. It's way better than Sullen Judgment for this deck, because not only do you not have to worry about paying life points, but you have a normal monster in the game. Like, you can play just your regular Blue Eyes White Dragon, set this card, and it's not once per turn either, so if you have multiples in hand, you could definitely cancel out some of your opponent's plays and just really hurt them. But again, it's only good against certain matchups, so that's why it's best as a side card. So, and the best way to use this card is to deal with floodgates, or if you have a feeling that your opponent's going to side in cards like Evenly Matched, this will cancel out Evenly Matched. So that's one of the best things about Champion's Vigilance. Well, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll catch you guys again on the next video.